All right. Welcome back, guys. Sooner Surge Double Trouble Nightly Edition. Thanks again for joining us. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate all y'all in here. We got the comments rolling in already. A lot of Jeff Lebby. I figured that would be the talk tonight, as it has been since the OSU loss, and really since I would say going all the way back to the UCF game. It's been a disaster offensively. A lot of you asking questions on if Jackson Arnold would leave if Lebby left. I mean, let's just get right into it. Um, I don't know. I think that's a tough question. I can't answer that for Jackson Arnold, but you have the University of Oklahoma and a chance to be the starting quarterback. I I don't think leaving would be an option. I think he'd stick around, but that's just my opinion. Jeremy.
Yeah, I mean, there's no telling what the future holds. Yeah, Levy, the talk of Levy, it's a tsunami for sure on social media right now. But golly, I don't even know where to begin as far as, I don't know how much speculation there can be. How much speculation can there be right now, Jay, until something is done? Do I think Jeff Levy's going to be around next year? I say no. And I think there's a combination of reasons.
You think right now you think he'll make it through the year, but in the offseason they'll let him go ahead in the SEC. So they're going to have a new coordinator heading into the SEC. That's your opinion right now.
Look.
I would maybe agree with you right now, Jeremy.
Here's why. There's something going on the offensive side of the ball. There's frustration everywhere. Now, I guess if you win, it makes a difference, but they haven't been. There seems to be some, I don't know, some kind of friction on the offense. And I don't want to speculate on that because that's ridiculous. But I do know that, I know people have talked about it. I don't want to sit here and harp on the Art Briles thing too, but it just seems like there's some things going on.
They're not cohesive. We all know that. The offense is not a cohesive unit for being in year two. They should be a lot more cohesive. Um, if and Easton says if Levy doesn't clean it up, I think he will be gone. Listen, Brent Venables. At some point, Brent Venables' job's on the line. If they continue to lose ball games, right? So he's going to do what's best for the team moving forward. If it's changing offensive structure, then that's it. And Jeremy, I said this yesterday. I'll say it again. I at first thought that this fast-paced offense is great. I do think it's a little gimmicky, and I do think going into the SEC, if you don't get more physical on offense, when you play Alabama, LSU, Georgia, Tennessee, all those teams, I don't think this offense can. I don't know if it can hold up. And maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe I'm totally wrong on that. It hasn't held up for Ole Miss though.
I agree.
Against big boys.
Hey, GNAP, horrible weekend sports-wise. Thankfully, sports isn't everything, but man, it was a bad weekend because I'm a Cowboy fan too. Horrible way to end this weekend with that loss. I thought they played pretty well today. I thought Dak was pretty good, but yeah, get him maybe in Dallas. But yeah, thank you, Blake, and I think someone else asked this.
But will they ask the question?
Hey, give me a media pass. I'll ask a difficult question.
What would you ask Jeff Lebby tomorrow, Jeremy?
Well, first I would say
first question you would ask Jeff Lebby.
Before I asked any question of anyone, Jay, the first thing I would say is, when I ask this question, am I going to get an answer? Because Dylan Gabriel couldn't give an answer. Other players can't give an answer. Andrew Rain 2 weeks ago could not give an answer. He just said, I don't know what it is. I can't.
Jeremy, what would you ask?
Basically, he said, I can't answer that question. They're hiding something. I would say, what has happened in the last 3 weeks? Why can you not score 35 points against the three worst defenses in the Big 12?
Hey, I'll be Jeff Lebby, and I'll answer that question as he would. Well, it's just a little bit of everything. It might be a penalty. It might be a turnover.
Got to be better.
Something of everything. That's what he would answer.
I got to be better. Hey, Jay Jones, Hunter, put the quote up, the comment for Jay Jones, because this is a great point, Jay. Thanks for joining us. The power run game, and here's the sad thing, Jay. They could do it this year. They could run the power run game, pull Caden Green and Rouse like they did twice yesterday and scored both times if they just would do it. They could do it.
Yeah. But do you think there's some issues there with Beatenbow? Do you think there's some frustration with all the other position groups?
I think there's frustration across the board, but that's expected when you're struggling. I get it. I'm not saying there's horrible things happening. Obviously, losing causes frustration, but I know there's some lack of talent in some areas. Actually, I'll say this, Ron. There's some lack of talent that's not being put out there. there's some talent on the sidelines.
Hey, Bobby, appreciate you joining us. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. We were talking about this today in our group chat. The OC from Colorado, who, guys, Deion screwed up majorly by
Sean
demoting
Lewis.
him. Why did he demote Sean Lewis? They should have demoted the defensive coordinator, but they demoted him, and they did awful yesterday against Oregon State. But listen, I'm going to throw a name out there. Okay, I've done some research today, and if Jeff Lebby were to be gone, I would go after this guy. And I bet maybe nobody on here knows who this guy is. But I would go after Willie Korn. Okay, Willie Korn is the OC at Liberty. He was the OC with Jamie Chadwell at Coastal Carolina. He's now at Liberty. Liberty's undefeated. He's an up-and-comer. He's only 29 years old. Listen, he played for Dabo Swinney back in 2007 to 9 at Clemson. Still has a relationship with Dabo. I believe he played with Miguel Chavis, Hunter. I may be wrong on that, but I think it was the same years. But Willie Korn, I would really be interested in him.
Yeah,
I know it's a crazy name, but so was Lincoln Riley when they went and got him from East Carolina.
Liberty 5th ranked total offense there. Eileen, I wonder the same thing, and I think it was Eason that asked this earlier. The Eason that asked about personnel. Here's what I was telling the guys on the chat as well today. Look at the defensive side of the ball. When guys make mistakes, they're gone. AKA Jaron Kanak yesterday, benched. He's not the first one. On the offensive side of the ball, I don't know what it is. We called it Sooner Roulette yesterday. Doesn't matter if you make mistakes. Doesn't matter what happens. They're not going to put anyone else out there, a.k.a. Austin Stogner. He can miss 3 blocks in a row, and he's not getting pulled.
I agree. I don't understand the tight end, but, hey, you can go look up Willie Korn offense on YouTube. They run some two-back power. I mean, they do different things. It's a very good offense. Thanks, Coconut Greg. Appreciate it. And you're right, Breaking It Nail TV, they can pay money and get a lot of people. But listen, if you're for instance, Ryan Grubb at Washington, he's another great mind, right? But is he going to leave Washington to go to OU? I mean, Washington, they're in the top 5. I mean, is that really what's that going to do for his career? You know what I mean? The reason I mentioned Willie Korn is it's a step up to go to OU to be an OC, right? On his path.
Yeah.
It's a young guy.
Well, I agree. And, Ron, Lebby is like BV. He's unproven. Here's the difference. I can listen to BV, and I don't know how long BV's got. I don't know how long if they lose 3 more games this year. I don't know what's going to happen. But listen, BV, I can listen to BV in a post game and be content with what he says because he really seems like he's trying to figure some things out. He's taking the blame. He seems like a great leader of a program. Jeff Lebby doesn't take blame. Doesn't seem to be that relational with the players. I don't know, man. But someone else just put something in I had to go to. Richard. Yeah, Key Lawrence was also banged up, but he's been benched too. I mean, on the offensive side, they don't seem to do that.
If Peyton Bowen's healthy, Peyton Bowen's going to start next game, my opinion, over Lawrence or RSJ. I think RSJ plays pretty well.
Jennings probably.
Easton says if Lebby leaves, what about the quarterback commits and all the other guys? Guys, listen, I'm just going to say this. Times have changed in college football. You can't worry about guys leaving. You can't. People will leave at the drop of a hat now. It doesn't matter. I mean, people may leave because they don't get playing time. People may leave because of a new coach. I don't think you can base everything on it. To me, if somebody does leave, then you got to go get somebody else out of the pool. I mean, I don't think you can base your coaching staff just on who they've recruited. Can you? I mean, maybe I'm wrong on that.
No, and look, I would hope Arnold would stay if BV were to leave. And if Lebby were to leave, BV I know for sure has 1 more year. Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
Lebby is probably. I think BV's got this. I think BV's got the team going in the right direction. You look at recruiting, it's going up. You look at the defense, it's improving. I like the way he's leading the program. But somebody said it earlier, he is leading the program. So this is when you got to make the tough decisions. And you got to figure out before you go in the SEC next year, is Lebby the guy in the SEC?
Hey, yeah, Utah Blake here. Hey, look, I agree, man. Hey, I don't get it either. Like, I'm baffled. Like, why are they? I don't know. It just doesn't seem like there should be that great of a relationship, but there is. I mean, maybe he's great off, you know, as far as on the recruiting trail and building relationships. I don't know. It just seems to be you can't get that feel because he's up in the box, and then you see him in the post game. And look, even DG this in the post game had zero answers for what's happening. Zero.
Well,
How does the quarterback not have zero? Either that or he's protecting Levy. That's the only two things.
Well, and I'm not saying Levy can't call plays. He sucks. The offense is good at times, but listen, it's just not in critical times. Critical situations, you get baffled by who's going in the game and what they're running. It just makes no sense. There's too much head scratching going on. They got to fix it. And I don't
Hey,
know.
the defense has been. I agree with Shelby. The defense has made strides, great improvements. They're not where they want to be. They're not where BB wants them to be, but they made great improvements. Even get many stops on fourth down. But Ron, I can agree with you a little bit on Kanik. Me personally, Kanik's in the wrong position. He should be in Cheetah. He should be doing something downhill. But Gentry Williams has been unbelievable this year. He was bad the other day, but Ron, Gentry Williams has been elite in my opinion.
And I'll say this too about Levy's offense. Go back and watch Art Briles at Baylor. You know when they were really good, you know who the quarterback was? RG3, okay? A running quarterback. Go look at Ole Miss. When were they really good with Levy? Who was the quarterback? Matt Corral ran a ton. This offense, you have to run the quarterback, and he didn't run him at all against OSU. It baffles me.
Hey, Richard, thanks again for being a Sooner Surge Unlimited member. Anyone can do that. It's $4.99 a month. You can click the link on our YouTube channel. But hey, Richard, actually, I wish he was with Grinch today because Grinch doesn't have a job. He's fired.
Grinch got fired today. Finally.
Alex Grinch is out at USC. Done for.
Are we going to finally see what Alex Grinch had on Lincoln Riley? Is he going to share the news now?
I don't know, maybe, but I do agree with Ron. Gentry is always hurt. That is the one knock on him. Not really. Maybe it's just something he's hurt a lot.
Who put that up there about DG staying? Listen, that it can happen. It's possible, but if I'm Brent Venables, that can't happen. Sorry, that can't happen. It can't. You can't allow that.
Timothy. Yeah, wow. Yes, Timothy, we all saw it. It was pretty hard to watch, honestly.
Hey, did you watch it again, though? Did you see his dad behind him laughing? I'm pretty sure that was dad sitting behind mom just kind of smiling.
This comment by Crystal. Crystal, you got to admit, Lincoln took a while to fire Grinch. It should have been done before he even went there.
Yeah, he kept it too long.
Eileen, great question. The more I think about it, if you go back and go look, I'm going to tell you a quote from Jeff Levy, guys. Listen to this quote. I'm going to paraphrase it because I don't have it in front of me. Maybe Hunter can find it. About when it was right before the UCF game this year, Hunter. If you want to try to find that for us, I appreciate it. But the quote was something like, I really learned a lot under the years I was with Heupel in some things. I think Heupel was calling the plays, guys.
Well, and Lane Kiffin's not giving that up. Hey, Ron, you're dead right if he gets a really good DC. But here's the thing. He's had 3 different defensive coordinators as he's been his head coach, and he has not had good defense with any of them. Mike Stoops, Ruffin McNeil, Alex Grinch. So I don't know. I think if he went and got and they paid somebody a bunch of money to run that defense, I think they could be really good. Because I think if he got a defensive guy to recruit defensive guys, I think they could be good.
Jay, thanks for joining us, man. Hey, Jay, you're spot on. I think Jeff Levy has a good mind offensively. I think he's got some nice schemes things. He is not a play caller. He doesn't know when to pull. He doesn't know when to call the right play. I think that's the big deal. He's not a good play caller. He'd probably be great as an offensive analyst, maybe someone in the film room. I just don't know that he's proven as a play caller yet.
Something has to be clouding his judgment, Coconut Greg says. It is weird. And I'm going to say something that's weird too.
Good point.
Is it weird at all that 2 weeks after the SMU game, so it's a week removed from the Art Briles on the sideline deal, you can't talk to the coordinators anymore on Mondays. What was that about?
Yeah, there's been some weird
That was
things, but
weird. They don't
and
have that press conference anymore.
I think he'd be a good quarterback coach. I think some of it could be because he's not on the field. I'll give him kudos. The play call yesterday at the end zone with Dylan Gabriel was great.
He makes some outstanding play calls.
He makes some awesome calls. It's just there's not enough of them. Situationally, like Basquiat said, situationally he's just bad.
That's the
sure.
And listen, you can't have in game 9 3 false starts from wide receivers. To me, we got to look at discipline a little bit on to coaching, and I guarantee. I mean, I'm not at practice, but I bet Brent Venables doesn't have his hand on that offense very much. I think that's mostly resigned to Jeff Lebby. So Jeff Lebby has to take ownership if they're having discipline penalties, right? If they're having bad snaps, that's got to be on Lebby, because I doubt that Brent Venables. It seems like Brent Venables is focused more on defense right now.
Yeah, I hate looking into things. I hate speculating too much. I don't like doing it. But if you
you're going to do it, you're going to do it.
I'm going to do it anyway.
You're going to do it.
That's exactly right. If you look at the post game, he always looks like he just doesn't seem very happy. And maybe he's not, but no one's happy when you're losing to UCF. Oh, sorry, you didn't lose that one. Kansas and OSU. No one's going to be happy.
And I think that's the thing. I think, Ron, you said earlier about talent. It's a lack of talent, too. They got more talent than Kansas and OSU, though, and those are their 2 losses. So that's what's concerning. You should not be having to go out there and run trick plays against Kansas and UCF and OSU.
I think if OU wins out, you go 10-2 this year. If you go 10-2, win a bowl game, and then next year in the SEC he throws out like an 8-4, I still think he'd get another year.
Yeah, BV's getting 4 to 5 years unless they just have losing records. I mean, because you can see the improvement. They are 7-2 this year. They're not 7-5 yet. Now we'll see how they close the season.
Hey, now I'm going to move on a little bit. Okay, I'm going to move on a little bit.
Why?
Because we did a video today about what's wrong with the offense, right? And obviously, let's take the Jeff Lebby stuff aside. You can't. Let's take that aside. In my opinion, Dylan Gabriel's what's wrong with the offense. Outside of the Jeff Lebby.
Over Jeff Lebby?
That and no tight end. Yeah. No, not over. I said take the Jeff Lebby stuff out.
So other than Jeff Lebby, you think another part is Dylan Gabriel?
I do. I've watched
explain yourself.
Well, I'm just going to say he's got too many weaknesses. 1, his size. 2, doesn't progress well, doesn't make progressions well. His pocket presence isn't great. He will elude the pocket. Sometimes that's help. But there's other things too, as Dalpoa says. It's everything. Guys missing blocks, dropping passes, penalties. DG's not a great vocal leader. He's not going to win you a game, although he did maybe the Texas game have the great drive. But I want you right now, viewers right now, can you name off the top 5 elite throws that he's made? Because I can't.
Hey, Jeremy, I'll say this, and Batista out there has a good point. Missed open receivers, locks. That's the thing. He really does lock on receivers. He locked on to Andrew Anthony most of the year. He got injured. Now he's really focusing on Stoops. But I would like to say this, and this, Mike, you hit it. This is what I was going to say right now. I was going to say, go find me Power 5 stud quarterbacks who underthrow 4 to 5 deep balls a game. And that's what happened against OSU. There were at least 4 that were way underthrown. And guys, Farouk's not the fastest guy on the team.
Hey, and he shouldn't even have thrown the pass to Brennan Thompson. He was getting pressure up the middle, so he just heaved it in the air, but it was double covered. So probably your shortest receiver, and it was a wounded duck. It was, I mean, that's what it is, guys. I mean, and Jackson Arnold, I would love to see him the rest of the year. Mike, I know Mike was on here. Been praying. Was it your brother's house? Hope everything's okay there, bud.
Hey, and I went back and watched some of the game today. And I know a lot of people say Stogner, and Stogner's not good at all. But listen, Stogner was open 3 to 4 to 5 times. No one near him. And just didn't get through the reads. I mean, and Jeremy, we talked about this last year. I don't know. We had some heated arguments on our podcast when we first started last year. very heated arguments about Dylan Gabriel, and I kind of backed him a little bit. And I said he's a good quarterback, but he's not a great quarterback. And I think that's fair to say. He's a good quarterback. He is not a great quarterback as far as arm talent, right? And visually looking at the field, misses a lot, I think.
Yes, and Richard, you're right. There's so many things that were bad yesterday and lately. It's not just DG, but I think he's a big part of it. And yes, Uncle Charlie, he doesn't take off and run anymore. And I don't think it's Lebby telling him not to, because Lebby seems to be all for that. I don't know what's happened the last 3 weeks. I am ready for Jackson Arnold. I don't think you're going to see him at all, but I'm ready.
Hey, but you know what's funny is we were talking about tight ends. He mentions Daniel Parker, and you remember Braden Willis last year. But if you go back and watch anything from last year, after about game 7, 6 or 7, Braden Willis they didn't throw it to him hard. Where'd he go? I mean, it's just baffling, dude. I mean, it's baffling some of the stuff you see with this offense.
Crystal.
And Crystal, the throw to Thompson down the field that was intercepted. Sawchuk check down. Nobody even near Sawchuk for a check down. And that's probably multiple
isn't great
times.
over the line. His height isn't great over the line. Now, I don't want to bash the guy too much because he's been good. He's played some great games. I just don't think he is the elite quarterback. And not that you have to have an elite one, but you got to have a guy who can make progressions and have in Jeff Lebby's offense, you got to have a guy who can get the ball downfield, and you got to get a guy who can get it across the field. Yeah, I think that's Jeremy, 2 areas.
If they don't
Uncle
improve,
Rico, that's right. He's not Uncle Rico.
If they don't improve offensively before next year, they're going to be. I mean, probably to me, they may be like middle of the pack, like Missouri or something like that. I mean, Missouri's actually pretty good this year, but you're not beating the big boys without a really good quarterback and a really good offense. It's not happening.
Mike, Mike. I think Freeman was open on the interception also, but Coconut Greg, DG is an obvious. He's an obvious leader. Okay, and I don't know. Again, if there's a lot of people in the locker room who don't like Lebby, and he's a Lebby guy, I just don't know what's happening. He's not a vocal leader, I don't think, on the field.
Clark
get in someone's face. They need someone to get in some people's faces on offense. Venables is doing it on defense. Stutzman is doing it on defense. Other guys are. T. Lawrence was screaming at people. No one does it on offense. That might be that guy.
That is a complaint of mine. Is nobody really? You have the defense yelling at the offense, like Woody Washington before that last drive against Texas.
Woody's another one. Yeah,
he's over there firing them up. But offensively, you don't really see guys doing that. And maybe it's because they don't know if they're going to be in the game, because you got a bottle spinning on the sideline and see who's going to go in. I mean,
Chester, yeah, thanks. Yeah, exit, hit the like button. We appreciate it. We got our supers on too, but yeah, hitting the like button would be great. Man, love you guys' comments on here. We really appreciate it. Yeah, Mr. John, welcome to the Sooner Surge Double Trouble. Yeah, there's just too many misses. And look, we're spoiled, guys. Caleb Williams, Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, Sam Bradford, Landry Jones even, and he made a lot of mistakes, but they didn't miss wide open guys. They just didn't.
And Mike says we need another vocal leader like Mayfield. Mayfield, yeah, he's standalone different, but they do need somebody vocal out there on offense. And that's not DG though. It's not going to be now. Uncle Rico next year, he probably will. I bet you.
Now Bobby brings up an interesting point.
He was on this.
Ticked off at the play calls. At the play calls. Well. They can't audible anymore, which is stupid.
Do you think that's why DG threw more down the field this week? Because he was just like, I'm going to chunk it. We didn't do it against Kansas and didn't look at his intermediate. The intermediate routes were open.
All game long. 10 to 20 yards open all game long. Now, here's the deal with Bastia.
I don't think they're going to do that, though. I don't think they're going to play Arnold.
Why not? Hey, he's not going to redshirt, though. At least give him a series every game. 2 series. See what he can do. 2 series a game. Probably be 14
points.
And hey. Probably be 14 points. 14 every time. 2 series.
Who?
If Arnold plays 2 series, it's 14 points.
When? Like yesterday?
If he plays 2 series every game the rest of the year, that's 14 given points. I promise you.
You think he'll score every drive?
Yes.
Well, he would have thrown the deep ball really well. I mean,
I know it was Arkansas State, but he was what, 10 for 10?
yeah, but Jeremy, they're not going to.
TU, 50-yard bomb right when he comes in.
You can't say Levy may not even call good plays with Jackson on it. You can't say that.
That's just my opinion. I can
You're
say what I
you're a
want.
moron. You're the one today on the Dallas game saying that Dak's sack didn't hurt him. That cost him the game,
Okay,
bro.
can you? I said Dax was a bad play. The sack was a bad play, dude. And yes, Jeff, I'm with you. I don't. It is.
Is it the running game or is it who they're playing at the running game?
Well, I think it's both because again, they pulled Caden Green and Walter Rouse on a basically run to the outside, two pulling, tackle and a guard pulling on that side. No one's going to get in front of Green and Rouse. And both times, one was the Saltchuk 65-yard touchdown. The other one, a limping Ty Walker went 30 yards to the house. It was a house call. Both times they ran the power run play.
Hey, they're the offensive linemen with the mean streak in them, the best mean streak, there's two of them. And they're the youngsters, Caden Green and Jacob Sexton. Those guys have mean streak. The rest
Walter
of them,
Rouse does too.
Who?
Walter Rouse.
Yeah, but in the run game, I see more of Caden Green. I mean,
and going back to what Jeff said, it is fixable. I'll tell you one way it's fixable. Play two backs together. Let's go to a two running back set every now and then, just once, maybe twice. I think OU could pound if they really wanted to. I think their line's good enough.
Jeremy, they overthink things. I don't think they'll ever do that.
I agree they do. And that's why I give Lincoln Riley credit. He would run the ball a lot when it was going.
Yeah, but he also had, I mean, look at the backs.
His run schemes are better, Jay.
So I think we're all in agreement. Tolly Walker is your best back. He's a walk-on. How is that possible at Oklahoma University? University of Oklahoma.
But he's pretty good. He was pounding over people yesterday.
Jeremy, I agree, but why do you play Javante Barnes in the first quarter?
Jay, your comment is ridiculous.
What?
That's the dumbest comment I've ever heard in my life.
Who, me?
Yes.
What do you mean?
He's the best running back, and he's a walk-on. So is Baker Mayfield. He's a Heisman and #1 pick in the NFL.
Okay.
Thank you, Easton. Thank you. Stop with the walk-on stuff.
So you're saying a walk-on should be the starting running back at the University of Oklahoma?
Based on what I've seen this year, Tolly Walker's the best. Clark agrees. He looks like P. Ryan and Kennedy Brooks together, dude. He looks like Kennedy Brooks, Ramondre Stevenson, and P. Ryan together. And he barely got the ball.
Jeremy, I totally agree he's the best running back right now. But
I don't care if he's a walk-on or a midget or whatever. Play the guy.
I'm asking how that's possible at the University of Oklahoma.
And Drake Stoops, I agree, yeah. Drake Stoops is a walk-on.
I agree with that.
11 catches, 140-something yards.
I agree, but why?
Jay, everyone's agreeing with me, bud, not you. So
I'm not saying he shouldn't start. I'm saying how did they get into this situation where that's your best running back?
I think it's because they lost some guys, and they're going to redshirt a couple guys. The water boy might have gotten in there. I can't remember.
He might have gotten in the game.
Bastia, I think, Jay, do you remember that play? It was 3rd and 5, and they brought a guy in there for a snap. Do you guys remember that? They stuck him at the edge. They stuck him at the edge of the tight end roll. I'm just kidding, guys. No, I think the water boy did get in, but
I wouldn't show him. I love Tolly Walker.
I'm going to say this, guys. You're not seeing that on the defensive side of the ball. You're not seeing the OU roulette. Pick whoever's running. Pick whoever's playing out there. It's only on the offensive side where they're doing that.
Yeah, it's baffling.
I think there's something with DeMarco Murray, Joe John Finley, Beat Bo. Like, they're not chemists. There's no chemistry with the coaching staff either, it seems like. Those guys should work together. Those guys should be working together. It doesn't seem like they are.
So they stopped working together after Texas?
Jay, OU's
I'm asking.
No, Jay, OU's offense was bad against SMU.
Okay.
That was before Texas. It was horrible against Cincinnati. OU scored 20 points against the Bearcats. Go look at the Bearcats record. Go look at it.
Yeah,
20
they're not
points.
good.
20 points. And why did we think OU's offense was so great then? I didn't.
You kind of did. Don't go back on that.
No, I
Thanks,
thought that
Richard. Thanks.
they do. His name's Taylor Tatum. He's
Well,
coming in next year.
But I asked what happened over the last few years. What I asked.
They've lost some guys, Jay.
And this is right. They do have so many offenses running at once. They got so many formations. It's fine when it works, but when it doesn't, you're going to be questioned. And if it's not working, then I asked. I was on. Sam Mays had his live today. He was on, and I asked a question on there about the running back. He's baffled as well. He said, "I don't understand why you're not playing 1 to 2 running backs instead of 4. It makes 0 sense."
We have a lot of 4 stars.
What I was going to ask is why did Javonte Barnes come in the first quarter? Okay, so that tells me Sawchuk was your 1 in that game, and probably Barnes your 2, right?
Yeah.
What he never came back in. He never.
Ron, we didn't play high. We were broken air graduates.
I didn't play high school football.
Did not play high school football. Don't claim to be an expert on the game. I do watch a lot of OU football, but
yeah, I'm definitely not an
expert. I actually think the OU run game has been so much better the last 3 weeks, and they've struggled all 3 games, but the running game's been better.
Yeah, this was the first game I think in a long time that the offensive linemen only played 5 guys. They didn't sub. They pretty much just played those 5. I thought they did pretty well.
I mean the O line. I think honestly, you go to yesterday, it's been better. The O line's been better the last couple of weeks.
It's been better. I think it'll continue to get better.
Barnes and Stogner, they're not even close to the same as before injuries.
No. Stogner, he's a shell of himself, man. That whole situation's weird. Transferring out and then coming back, it's a weird deal. Hey, Shane Beamer may not last at South Carolina.
I agree. And Ben Stogner, hate to say that I'm for that, but I am.
Hey, do we want to bring up the tweet? I mean,
I don't know. I think Josh Blankenship is not what people thought they were there. Bill Blankenship's son is not cutting it at BA.
Nope, not.
Now, hey, what about Murray making the decisions?
You think he is for the running backs?
No, Shelby said she's not convinced. Or Shelby says he was dang good as a player. Just couldn't see him being the problem.
Yeah. Is Levy going to make it?
Good recruiter.
Is Levy going to make it to the SEC? Is he going to make it through the offseason? Right now. True serum, Jerem, right now. Is he going to make it through the offseason?
I say there's a 5% chance Jeff Levy's at OU next year.
Do you think there's a 5% chance he's at OC next year?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And here's the interesting thing. If they were to get rid of him before the bowl game, then what? You got to have someone like Luttrell or Murray or someone call the plays for the game and then go in and get someone. But
Ron thinks Levy wants out of Norman.
Ron keeps saying he wants out of Norman, and maybe he does.
Gentry Williams is injured again. That's correct.
He is. He cannot stay healthy, man.
It sounds like it was just a shoulder pop out of place, so he should be
something
okay.
All the time.
A lot. Ooh, Crystal.
I don't. Hey,
Crystal. That's a great.
Here's my answer. Jay, this may shock you. I would say they are the exact. I would say Gabriel and Jones are the exact in the way they're similar in the fact that they're never going to win you a championship, but they're different in the fact that Landry Jones was way better arm strength, way better pocket quarterback. He made way more mistakes than Dylan Gabriel.
Okay, but you're right on the arm strength.
He was a much better quarterback.
You're right on the arm strength. You're dead wrong on the pocket presence. You called me almost every game complaining about how you can't see a blitz or anything coming.
I'm not saying vision. I'm saying pocket presence. He was like 6'2".
Well, he could see over the defensive line, but
he played in the NFL.
Landry Jones put up a ton of stats. I mean,
Thank you, Bobby. Yeah, way better.
A lot of people say
it. Jones's biggest deal was he made too many mistakes. He fumbled the ball in a weird situation. He was almost like Dak-esque in that way.
Hey, listen. I do. I
Andy
really
has a
do.
stash. Thank you. I shaved mine
Hey,
today.
I love Dylan Gabriel. Really do. I think
Shelby, you're
what
right. He was happy feet.
listen, I think what they did in getting Dylan Gabriel when they had to find somebody was great. They had to. They had to get somebody. But let's not forget, he wasn't at a Power Five school, right? OU had to get somebody. They went and got him. But it's not like he was probably the guy they want. I mean, he was the guy they wanted then for Levy, but it's not a guy they recruited to OU. Let's just say that. And he's got him by this last year and this year, but I, you combine that with Jeff Levy and Jeff Levy's offensive strategy and play. Is it more of a strategy with Levy or is it play calling? What is it?
I don't know, but Jackson, if I take away 5 bad test grades or 5 whatever, I mean, you can't take them away. Unfortunately, and here's the thing, Jackson. Yeah, he calls some great plays, but the 5 bad play calls he calls, or I would say there's a lot more than 5, but we'll go with your 5. They're at the worst times of the game.
That's the problem.
They're at the worst times of the game.
Jackson, that's like me in practice knocking every 3-pointer down, and then it gets in clutch time and I can't hit the rim.
Hey, yeah, good point. 1 run. Do you know when the 1 run came? Didn't he have 1 rush?
Yeah. Nah.
4th quarter, he pulled the ball out and took a 1-yard run. He could have been running the entire game. He had 100 yards rushing against Texas, didn't he?
Well, and Jeff's dead on with that because go look at Levy's history of teams he's been at. They have to have a running quarterback. Look at Art Briles. It's the same offense. RG3. Okay?
Yeah.
You got to have that running quarterback in this offense. If you're not going to run him, you're kind of wasting. And listen, if anybody watches the Oklahoma Breakdown, I watched it today. Gabe Eichert said multiple occasions on the RPO that Dylan Gabriel, if he hands the ball off, it's a huge game. And he kept it. He pulled it out and threw it. So there's also that part of the RPO that a lot of times we see the play with like, oh, he missed an open receiver, but if he hands the ball off, maybe it's 10 yards. So it's hard to judge that. Sometimes we blame Levy on that when it could be DG not reading it right too.
And look, Clark, I remember sitting there doing a video saying that after the Texas game, he was in the Heisman race. Now I wasn't saying he was going to win it. I said he was in the race, but it was, I hate to say I had crimson colored glasses on, but I guess I did because that one drive was so monumental for Sooner fans to beat Texas the way we did, to beat Texas on the drive like that. It clouded, I think. Look, he wasn't great in Cincinnati. If you go back, went back and watched some tape this year, and he wasn't great against Cincinnati. He wasn't great against SMU. I guess you could say we got on our crimson whatever and thought OU was going to win the national title, and we did this last year after Nebraska.
Yeah, let's just hope they can win out. But you know what? Have you ever thought about with this offense? They go so fast that it'd be pretty dang hard to call plays that fast. So maybe think about maybe slowing it down and getting a better play call than trying to hurry up and go quick. Maybe you don't have the best play call. Like, think about it and get the best play called. And they ran a play on the biggest play of the game. Listen, 2 weeks in a row against Kansas, the biggest play of the game, you have Jaden Gibson and Gavin Freeman as your 2 receivers. You don't have any of the other 3 guys out there. That's horrible coaching. Horrible. And I'm not saying Jaden Gibson. I'm saying to not have Farouk Stoops or Nick Anderson.
Which play yesterday was that, Jay?
That was Kansas, I'm saying. Last play on that huge play in Kansas. And then you had OSU. You have a play they have not ran all year probably. The bootleg out to the left, they haven't ran that all year.
Yeah. Earlier, Ron said Eric Hippie. Is he talking about Nate Hibble or Eric Moore?
What about Nate Hibble?
He said Eric Hippie. He compared him to Eric Hippie. Hey, huddle offense might help us, Coconut Greg, and I agree. Power run mixed in with what they should be running with Gabriel is a power run game, a QB run game, and some play action. That's it.
Yeah, but he's ran Levy's offense before. That's what they're going to run. That's not going to change. He just has to run the ball. You have to have the quarterback run.
Nate Hibble won a Rose Bowl, and his brother's an awesome golf coach.
Bobby, you're dead right. If he would check down, but Bobby, this is 2 years into his time at OU, and that doesn't happen very often. And Jeremy, we got into it a little bit today about Jeff Levy. It might be that maybe Jeff Levy makes Dylan Gabriel look good sometimes because the first read's wide open and he hits it.
I don't know, but I would love to see I formation, Shelby. I want two backs. And
what game was it they both played? TU?
This year we had a formation where Walker and Major were in together or something.
I think it was TU.
Have it one time all year. One time. Pulling your guard and tackle 2 times in a game, 2 touchdowns.
Is there a team in football that throws the ball 3 yards or less more than OU?
No.
And listen, that's what I don't understand. They have all these receivers, right, that we've heard about, and all this receiver room, how talented it is. And you're going to run them on a 2-yard route. Is that dumb? Is that dumb?
It's obviously dumb.
Baffling is what it is.
Ray, he did have a chance the last 2 weeks to win a game. Think what could have been so close. If he could have went down there and won these 2 games, he would have 3 come from behind wins. He would be. But the problem is he didn't do it.
Yeah, you aren't seeing wishbone, that's for sure. Dumb and Dumber.
Jeff Levy and Alex Grinch, match made in heaven. Hey, someone asked earlier, was it Shelby? I do think Caleb Williams regrets it. You put a true serum in him, he regrets leaving.
You think?
I think they could have won a national title this year.
Here's the deal, and this
with
is
Caleb Williams, I think they could have won a title.
There's no way they're winning a national title, I don't think. But hey, he was going to be number 1 pick if he stayed at OU or went to USC. It didn't matter. That's why I didn't understand. He didn't need to leave. He's going to be the number 1 pick. I think it would have been good for him to get away from Lincoln Riley for a little bit, is what I think. But
Jay, I'm dead serious on that, though. If you go back to this year, I mean, the 2 losses were 1-possession games. You can't tell me Caleb Williams doesn't make that difference.
I agree, but Blake, I think he might eventually do that because I don't think Lincoln likes pressure of anything. I don't think he likes pressure. I don't think he likes being everything on him. I could see him being an OC one of these days. Now, hell, I would not take him back at Oklahoma, that's for sure. Would you, Jeremy?
No, 405 boy says undefeated this year, and that's an interesting stat that was just up there.
I would agree, undefeated.
Very interesting stat. 9 games, 1-score games. One of them was a win. And guys, I'm going to chalk that one up against Texas, the Sooner Magic. And Dylan Gabriel got out of the pocket and ran and hit some guys.
You got to remember how many yards rushing he had against Texas. Do you remember?
Over 100, Jay.
It was like $140 or something, wasn't it? $120, $140.
Caleb does have issues. I think Caleb is very selfish. I think obviously he is. I'm not, I don't know. But I do know one thing. He's so talented.
Hey, if I'm USC, you know who I'm going right now and getting as a DC? Right now. Gary Patterson. Heartbeat. That's who I'd go get if I were them. He's got ties to Lincoln Riley with his brother.
Will he leave the state of Texas?
I'm just saying, like, he'd be a guy that get him in shape, don't you think?
Hey, yeah.
But listen, he's got to fire Benny Wiley too, or things aren't changing.
Yeah. Guys, Drake Stoops is phenomenal. Drake Stoops. Hey, Drake Stoops is going to be drafted. He's going to play
100%. 100% he's going to be drafted.
Drake Stoops is he may go down as one of my favorite Sooners of all time. You realize he caught the ball when he was interfered between his legs. The guy still hit the catch. If it wouldn't have been on the sideline, it would have been a touchdown.
I think Caleb Williams thought about staying, but I wonder the whole Levy and DG. I don't know all that, guys. He waited so long to decide.
Yeah, he did. Why did it take him so long?
Well, I think they didn't want to look like he was being pulled to USC when he was, but Drake is very comparable to Hunter Renfrow.
I think he's better. I think he's better than Renfrow was in college. And Renfrow was really good.
Yeah. Hey, what about Jeff Levy throwing him under the bus there, though?
Agreed. Hey, before we get off here, OU basketball tips off tomorrow, guys. Are there any Sooner basketball fans in this chat? It looks to be like an exciting athletic team that Moser's putting out there starting tomorrow night. I sure hope so, because this is Moser's last year in Norman, if not.
Yeah, he's got to make the tournament or he's gone bye-bye, for sure.
Agreed.
They got a lot of talent this year, though. A lot of athleticism. The Moore kid, I think, out of Georgia Tech, very athletic. They got guys that play above the rim. Haven't had that in a long time. And Porter
Moser
says they're going to be up and down the court this year.
Yeah, Moser has switched it. So, yeah, hope he has a good year. Tomorrow night at 9:30, guys, we're back every night, 7 nights a week, 9:30. Make sure you join us. You guys have been amazing again, as always.
Yep.
Can't believe how many comments you're rolling through here. If you're not subscribed, make sure you do that. Make sure you like this Sooner Surge Double Trouble, whatever you need to do. Appreciate you guys. We'll be on there. We'll hit it up again tomorrow. Till next time, guys. Boomer.
Sooner.